Welcome to the NFL opening day.
We're here to interrupt your regular schedule. Why you watching superstars? You could be your old superstar.
Right.
Right.
Man.
We are live.
Yo.
Once
What's going on?
Welcome to the NFL opening day.
We're here to interrupt your regular schedule. Why you watching superstars? You could be your old superstar.
Right.
Man.
And so I'm glad you guys could be here again this week, and everybody who's watching the show, watching it live. Don't worry about the other channel. The game will be playing long after we're done.
Go watch the highlights. Go watch the highlights. You'll be all right.
But you are watching the #1 strategy and funding show on Facebook and soon to be YouTube. Here again, I'm Marcus the Money Man. I'm with the guru, Devontae, and the champ
Oh,
of
there we
real
go.
estate, JD McLemore.
Yeah.
So,
What's up, my brother?
man, I tell you, it's been a long week.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, we're still here. We're making moves. And most likely it's because of the systems that we put in place or the ones we haven't put into place yet.
Exactly. Either or.
Either or. So you are what you do. So we're going to talk about 4 systems. We count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. A little extra. Maybe it's an extra at the end of the show that you can't live without. So, and I won't prolong it. CRM, website,
Yep.
payment processor, and QuickBooks. I repeat, a CRM. And we'll kind of deep dive into each one of these. A payment processor, a website, and QuickBooks. And some people may use QuickBooks as their payment processor, but it's 2 separate things. You got to be able to collect the money, and you got to be able to account for your money. Yeah. Don't be like me and be late on taxes and be charged a penalty. Yeah. I got a bookkeeper now, so that's not gonna happen.
I was gonna say you fixed that
That's
problem.
good. That's good.
Yeah. Way less stress.
Hey, but seriously though, every business needs to have systems in place to go from being an owner operator to actually running a business where you can service multiple people, provide products across the board, and also importantly, make some money, right? Because if you're not in business to make money, it's just a hobby.
You're just volunteering.
Yeah,
Man.
you're volunteering.
Might as well sell lemonade on the corner.
That's true. That's true. So now, of these 4 systems, guys, I'll start with you, JD, man. What kind of experience do you have using these type of systems, man?
Man, right off the bat, and it's probably for me, it's kind of the starting point, and the thing that I found that was most important is the CRM, managing your customer base. Because without business coming in, you can't get to the other 3. You can't make money. There's no books to keep without having those funds, without having your customer base in place. And especially with my business, with what I do with real estate, it's very rare that your first interaction with somebody is going to lead to a sale. It's usually it's not even the second, it's not the third, it's like the 5th, the 10th interaction that you're having with them that's turning something into a sale. So that was one of the biggest things for me, was really learning to manage and build a CRM and a funnel for my customer base. Because especially when you get into something, I think we have a bad habit of thinking you can rely on memory. Or rely on, oh, I had a good conversation with Tom yesterday, I'm gonna make sure I touch base with Tom. But then when you reach out to Tom, Tom tells you he hasn't done his taxes because he didn't have a book person in place, kind of like my boy Marcus. So you need to follow up. You got to follow up with him, 3 months down the road once he does have his books in order. Doesn't mean he's not potentially a great client. It definitely doesn't mean it's not somebody you should retouch bases with, but it's just somebody that's not ready for you for your services right now. But if you don't have a CRM or something to either remind you to follow up with this person or automatically touch base with this person so you stay in the front of their mind, somebody else is going to end up replacing you in front of their mind for what they need as far as their service, especially when it comes to real estate on my end. Either somebody's going to be making a better offer if I'm trying to do a flip or a wholesale, or like I said, somebody's going to step in place and say, hey, oh, you need to get your home sold now. Oh yeah, that is right. I was talking to some guy, but he hasn't touched base with me, but I'm ready to go now. I got my tax stuff and everything in order. So for me, that was definitely the most important one, learning to not only use a system like that and create one, but then learning how to truly automate it. And I know that's a big one, is really taking the time out to automate the system.
And let's take one quick step back, because I know we jump right into it. Many people might not even know what a CRM is.
Oh, yes, I meant to bring that up too. Yeah,
go ahead. An example of a CRM in real estate, so they can kind of get the name of a few?
So yeah, man, there's a few different ones. Sync is a really big one. What is that? We use High Level. Marcus introduced me to High Level. High Level, I did not know you can do so many things through until we kind of sat down and started going over it. Sync, I was on a few teams that had Sync. Sync is very, very user friendly. And it is pretty much just cut and dry. It'll show you the customer information, number, what they're looking for, all of that stuff. It can be used not only as a CRM but lead generation too. But and there's another one called Boomtown. Those are my top three that I've utilized, that I've had a great time, had some good interactions with, and that I really did like. But since me and you have kind of sat down and really broken down High Level, I see how much more I can do with High Level, but then two, or I should say, how much more I didn't know I could do with High Level compared to the other ones.
Yes.
That was a big one. And then also I see High Level can be used to generate leads too, and it's a lot less than it would take to utilize Sync or put money into Boomtown, because these and it takes a little bit more time that what we've done with High Level, like learning how to use the system to build these follow-up campaigns and things like that. That's going to come down to purely what you're looking for. If you want to take the time, let's say you don't have as many funds to start with, you want to start with something, you'll be great starting with something like High Level, because you can learn to utilize it how you need to and not have to pay a lot of extra money. Boomtown and Sync gonna charge you right off the gate. They do a lot of things. They'll help you build a website. It'll be very basic, and they'll help drive traffic to your website, but you don't have any control on what they're driving to your website. So it's going to feel really, really good and really, really user friendly, but like I said, you're going to have to pay some money out of the pocket right up front. It's going to take a nice chunk, and like I said, you are going to have as much control as you could for something like High Level. But all great systems, at the end of the day, the biggest thing is just making sure you have something to stay in touch and keep track of all your customer base.
Right. That's a client relationship management software, right? So at the base core of it is you want one place to go to be able to put information about your clients and where they are along your journey, right? That's the basics, And some people, they use some variations of like Excel, all marked up, things like that, but basic software, Lion Desk, that's another one. In the real estate space, I had a bunch of clients who would use that. Pretty cheap.
There's another free one. Oh God, I'll bring it up later, probably put it in the chat. There's another free one that a lot of realtors start with. It starts off, I think it's free for like 90 days, and then after that, it's like $10 a month or something. It's still extremely cheap. I'll remember the name of it as we're going through this, but that was another one I used too. But there's so many different ones out there.
Okay. Tavante, what do you think about the client relationship management software and the payment processes? You got any experience?
Not in the CRM. I don't have much experience in that. And actually not in so much for the website. So I have a website right now, and I'll be using a payment process with my website. And I just know that it's pretty clear and cut. I mean, like if you're doing business and you don't have a way to take payment, and you don't have multiple ways to take payment, then you're going to limit your options. So, I think it's just a good thing about that. I think when you're first starting off, you're probably thinking about how you would actually process a payment, right? Maybe you have a reliable way, but depending on your demographics and who you're servicing, they may be comfortable with multitude of ways. I've been thinking about, not just a payment processor online because I service elderly clients. I'm going to be doing a lot of phone call over the phone, taking payments and invoicing, especially for my private pay, because I know that is the way that they're most comfortable. They want to talk to someone. They don't want to finagle with a computer or a phone, and so it's good to be like, use terminology like, oh, I can invoice you. They're comfortable with being invoiced,
That's their era.
That's their era. That's their language, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I said, hey, you can call and pay a phone. I'll invoice. That's okay. That's that word brings a bit of comfort, and that's what you're trying to do. Is you're trying to create this comfort level of, oh, this is not so weird for me to do this. I'm comfortable doing this.
That makes total sense, and I like your point about making sure you have multiple ways to receive payment, because you said when you're dealing with a client base that's a little bit older, that's going to be their old school. There's going to be checks, it's going to be cash, something like that. But you start dealing with this younger generation, and it's Cash App, it's Venmo. It's going to be more electric. So I could definitely see you, if you don't have that type of stuff set up, you're definitely going to limit yourself on what kind of customer base you can deal with.
Exactly.
And that's one thing too. So I use Square, so me and the team, and the big benefit of using Square is it's almost kind of like McDonald's, right? You can set up your different items and build in your costs. So it makes it quite simple for them to go out and create invoices, create the different bills for the customer quickly on the phone, and then they can see everything right there. They've got the little chip thing. They can put the chip in. They can even tap it too. They can tap it. We get the option. They can call in if they want. So it gives us that flexibility. And to be quite honest, I was always thinking about, okay, there's fees that are associated with having that payment processor in place. But at the end of the day, I would rather have the credit card transaction than having a cash or a check. For one, the cash, you have to, especially if you have a large team, you have to have a way to bring it all back. You have to count it, you have to take it and reconcile, right?
Yeah.
With checks, you got to do the same process and hope the check doesn't bounce.
Yeah.
With the credit card, swipe, approved right there, no questions, if and or buts, and it moves right into the bank account. So that fee that's associated with that transaction is worth it, in my opinion.
Kind of a convenience fee, basically.
It's a convenience fee. So Square is pretty good. PayPal has their own separate. Your bank will have a payment processor. And if you're in like a high risk business, say you're doing CBD, or you're doing, there's a lot of high risk business, credit repair, stuff like that, where you can't get approved for a traditional payment processor, because they're a high-risk business. You have to go to these third-party payment processors. We have a few. If you're looking for one, just send a message. We'll send you a list, but they'll charge more to be able to receive money via credit card, things like that. But you don't really have that many options. But you know, you have to have a payment process in place to do business today. And you know, Devontae, to go back to what you said, having that website integrate with your payment processing, now you're building systems. Now you're really building systems, and you even take another step back, have the CRM in place
with the website.
So you know who you're talking with when it comes in from the website. You're building a profile, you're receiving payments. Now, when your team receives a call or want to contact your clients, they have all the information there, when they paid, what they like, what kind of house they were looking for, what kind of appliance they were getting repaired, what route they took to their doctors. All that information is right there in the system. So it makes everything work beautifully together.
Yeah.
If you have it set up correctly.
Right.
That's the key part. That's the key part.
Right. And I think that the goal too is that when we start, I'm speaking for myself, but I'm thinking everyone thinks the same way too. When you start in a business, you don't start the business to work the business forever.
Yes.
You start the business because in your mind, you want to be sitting on a beach or a lake, in my perspective, with a nice drink in your hand, because you can do that and your business is going to run without you. And so these systems become very, very key. The CRM, the website, the processor, all these integrated becomes, and the better they run, the more you can take off from the business.
Amen. Amen. Hold on, you said lake over ocean?
Yeah, I'd rather have a lake, man. I don't like fucking salty water. I'd rather have a lake.
Hey, I'm with you, man.
Just in case of fresh water, huh?
I like fresh water.
I'm lake too, man. I'm lake too.
I was thinking more, Tavante, because the seclusion of it. Yeah. But I wasn't even thinking from the saltwater, freshwater perspective. But okay.
Yeah, I love to swim, man. I love to swim, but I don't like swimming in salty water.
Okay. That's a whole nother thing. I'm learning something new about you every day, brother. Okay. That's cool. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's the goal. But I think a lot of us, when we get into this, because we don't know these things, we don't even know how you end up stuck in a whole different rat race. Because now you can't ever leave.
Can't get out.
Step away, because it's controlling you. Yeah, it's yours. It's your baby. You're running it, but it's running you too.
Yeah.
Because you didn't build this foundation from the beginning, and I think that's why I love like having these talks and putting this information out there, because I think that's a huge piece that ends up missing. The shiny, glamorous part of it is running your own business, but these are the foundational bricks that need to be put in place, and we don't look at a lot of that, man. And so this is huge. I like how you put that, because that's the ultimate goal, is to get away from it, like you said, whether it be a lake house or a beach house with your feet up, and you just looking at invoices coming in. You just getting chimes like, oh, okay, yeah, I got I could go ahead and get an extra beer today. I could get an extra steak today. We went ahead and got that extra check. Okay, cool. So, but no, I think that's a key component of this, man. Just making sure that your end goal is to step away from the business, not just to stay stuck in the business.
Exactly.
Well, hey, man, fellas, again. Oh, and we missed on QuickBooks. QuickBooks is straightforward.
Well, it's pretty straightforward, but I mean, I think it's important for tax time. Like we talking about Marcus and myself. I think I got the same issue too. I'll leave my QuickBooks not updated and reconcile for a little while. Then I have to go back in and catch everything up. But it's pretty easy. You can get an assistant to go in and just reconcile stuff, especially if you got things running through credit cards, and you use a business credit card. I think that's good practice. Use a business credit card to kind of categorize things, and if it's always on the credit card, it's always a business expense, and then you can just start separating expenses, business personal, reconcile it, everything, and it's done.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. If you have multiple business credit cards, you can, kind of segment it. Use one card for a certain type of transaction, use another card for another type of transaction, and that helps that automation in QuickBooks. But if you're starting to have a whole bunch of transactions, it could be difficult.
It can be.
Man, like I haven't had to delve into the QuickBooks aspect of it yet. Get into it, but I remember basically having to keep track of those types of statements and invoices when I work corporate.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuff is a nightmare if you end up getting too far behind.
Yeah.
Like you get a couple weeks, you go a couple weeks to month behind. Like you got to dedicate a full business day or two just to inputting and going back and inputting information so everything's on point. Man, that's a nightmare.
Yeah.
You can't really, and one of my big pushes to make sure everything is straight and up to date weekly is cash flow. We always go back to that, is to really understand where cash flow is, and especially when you're in a growing business, you need to know exactly where your expenses are going. Is it going towards growth? Is it going towards routine expenses, training, whatever, so you can get ahead of it quickly. Because hey, just because you're making money and you're making more than what you're spending doesn't mean it's a good choice. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Another thought I thought about too is that initially, and I think just going back to the mindset of making that transition and getting to a business that you want this business to run without you. We get excited about the money, but you got to keep that in mind. You want the business to run without you. Think about everything that you're doing and what you can make sure that something does it for you. Because at the end, if you're going to leave, then that thing's not going to get done. So paperwork, and I think we all probably guilty of this. Oh, well, we just do it this way and we'll do it that way and we'll save the cost on this tool, right? And in the end, it ends up burning you because you're trying to save the money versus invest the money in a good tool that's going to work consistently without you. And it ends up hurting you, And I knew from the jump when I started this, I suck at paperwork. I suck at it. So my thing was getting a good software to create my schedule and my routes for me. And even my admin, she'll get in the habit of doing it herself. And I say, okay, you can do that yourself, but even her, I want somebody to replace her. I want her to be a manager. I don't want her doing scheduling. So I say to her, hey, I know you can do it yourself, but we're going to hire someone else to replace you. You got to think, can they do it without you?
Yes.
Are they going to do it the way you do it? So we need to make sure that we are creating duplicatable things that we can do and leave people to train them to do what we did.
Yep. And there you have it.
Good boy at the end too, that they're gonna do it how you would do it.
Yeah.
Good boy at the end, because a lot of if you don't got the right person in place or you aren't setting the right tone or example, you're gonna get somebody in there that's doing it how they want to do it. We cutting corners.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, hey guys, once again, another good talk. We'll be back next Thursday, live every Thursday around 6 o'clock ish. Or whenever we get started.
6 o'clock ish. It's all right. can replay it too, so it's okay.
Right, yeah. Remember, go check us out.
All right. Exactly.
They can check us out where in our in our Facebook group, REI Small Business Funding and Strategies, on our Facebook page, REI Financial Group, on our YouTube, REI Financial Group. I'm going to rename that too. It's going to be something. We're going to think of something spectacular to call this show, so we won't have to keep calling it the #1 funding and strategy show or the #1 strategy and funding show. We'll have a title for you guys come next week. If not, I blame it on Christian.
Christian gonna have 10. Christian gonna have 10 names to pick from by the end of tomorrow.
Right.
Thanks, Christian. No, you want.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Everybody have a great day. Take it easy.
Peace.
Y'all be easy.